it's time to lock in our teams for game week 5. This is my team and I've got some benching headaches this week. Let me know in the comments of your dilemmas that you've got this week and we'll try and work through them together. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. With all that being said, let's get on with the video. So after an average but very respectable 62 in game week 4, I head into game week 5 in mediocre shape. It's been an up and down start, to be honest. It's been low and then average and average. So it's time to claw some rank back. I'm hoping this is the team that's going to do it. Next week should potentially be my wild card, but for now we're going with this team, and I've got Jose Sarr in goal with my keeper rotation. It's another rotation this week with Verbruggen missing out. Jose Sarr with the much easier fixture on paper with Leeds, and maybe I can get that first clean sheet from a goalkeeper this season. It would mean a lot. Then as we move on to the defence, I've gone with the 4 at the back this week. It's the first time I've changed formation from the 3-4-3 all season. Defenders are looking relatively overpowered, but not only that, I've got a lot of defenders with good fixtures, so I felt I had to put them in. And Rodon, who misses out on my bench, has also got a very good fixture himself in Wolves away. They nearly kept a clean sheet at Fulham away. And I do fancy him. I'm almost tempted to start him, but I just have that many defenders I can choose. Starting off with Marc Cucurella, which at Manchester United away, there's potential there. I don't completely love the fixture, but being my most expensive defender, it doesn't feel right to bench him. I've got to back him in a fixture again, like Manchester United. Senesi up next, a defensive contributions monster. He hit it again last week, missed out on the clean sheet. I'm probably just hoping he can go and get his clean sheet in this one with Newcastle as I speak, actually. Currently playing Barcelona. Hopefully they put their energy into that game and Senesi can pick up some decent points in that game against Newcastle. Moving on then, Chris Richards, who got the clean sheet last week against Sunderland, and now he goes away to West Ham, a very struggling West Ham team, I might add as well. Struggling to score. The Crystal Palace defence does look solid, so I'm hoping for some positive returns there as well. And with it being an away game, they may come under a little bit of pressure, even with West Ham struggling. And hopefully this week he can hit those DEFCON points as well, which would be really nice. Then the final slot, I brought in Nico Williams off my bench. Nottingham Forest, as we all know, have had a very difficult start. Not in terms of fixtures, they've made it very difficult themselves. Certainly with the turbulence, with the change of the manager and Ange Postecoglou coming in. That doesn't strike me with a lot of confidence. He's not known for his defensive style of play. It's a fixture where you could see Nottingham Forest getting their first clean sheet of the season. Do I think they'll get it? I'm not sure. Burnley did do well against Liverpool, but they didn't offer that much in attack. So if the game follows that sort of trend, you know, maybe Nico Williams can pick up that clean sheet. And any of you guys that have like the likes of Murillo or Milenkovic, maybe you'll get your first clean sheet of the season there. Let's move on to the midfield. So with the change at the back, it only leaves 3 spots in my starting midfield this week, and 2 of them are in the same game, both for Liverpool, both against Everton in the Merseyside derby. So I've gone with Cody Gakpo to start. I feel pretty confident he will start. He did come off in midweek against Atletico Madrid. So I think he'll keep his place. Who plays up front? I'm not too sure if it'll be Ekitike or if Isak starts like he did in midweek. I do fancy Ekitike to start this game. But anyway, it's irrelevant to my team. Gakpo, I'm happy with him, but the captain's armband obviously goes on Salah, with the first glimpses of Salah really looking like his old self in midweek, with a goal and assist in the first 10 minutes of the game. So if he can transfer that form and that Mohamed Salah to the Merseyside derby, I'll be more than happy keeping that captaincy on him. And then the final slot in the midfield is Antoine Semenyo, understandably. Newcastle, like I said, currently playing that game against Barcelona. And Semenyo's looked just so deadly and effective this season. There was no way he's going to take up a spot on my bench this week. The two that do take up a spot on my bench is Anderson, as always, and first sub. It's so tempted to bring him in against a team like Burnley. I may regret this one, but he hit his first DEFCON points last week against Arsenal, but I don't think it's one of those games where he's going to be hitting DEFCON. I would imagine Nottingham Forest have a bit more of the ball than they did against Arsenal. And then I've also moved Iliman Ndiaye onto the bench for the first time this season, just because of that fixture away at Liverpool. I can see it being quite tricky, quite tight. They're usually quite tight affairs, which maybe doesn't bode well for my midfield. But that's the way I've gone leading into a potential wildcard next week. Iliman Ndiaye last place on my bench. Hopefully that won't come back to bite me. So up front then we've got Jean-Philippe Mateta up first, away at West Ham. Disappointing last week, not being able to get that return against Sunderland at home. But maybe he can go away and get his goal against a really struggling West Ham team. I fancy him in this game. I fancied him in the game last week. But if Crystal Palace can continue sort of their away form like they did against Villa before the international break when they put 3 past them, I feel pretty confident that Mateta can do some damage in that fixture. Then up next actually is Ollie Watkins, and he is my vice captain. Sunderland away is a very tempting fixture. They have been very good at home actually. But the vice captaincy will unlikely come into this. But if he can finally get off the mark, it would mean so much to him, I think, and to Villa, who need that first goal of the season. Surely it has to be this weekend. They cannot go another weekend without scoring, surely. So it's probably the last week I'll put up with him, especially if it's the wild card. The week after, which I've said is more than likely. So it's the last chance for me to get some points from Ollie Watkins, and then maybe it wasn't a complete disaster starting with him from game week 1. And then finally, João Pedro. Obviously, the fantastic season he's had against Manchester United. I still fancy him to do some damage in that fixture. He has looked pretty impressive in every game this season. Understandably very high owned as well. No more explanation really needed on him. So as I move on to my transfer plans are very limited this week. It's just roll. I don't even have one in my mind that I want to make. It was more important actually for me to save this transfer this week, and then next week I have 2 or the wild card. My plan is to get Haaland in for that Burnley fixture. I would have to sacrifice Salah. The one thing that may make me rethink that is if Salah sort of goes and destroys and really hauls against Everton. But even then, I can't see myself sort of veering away from bringing Haaland in. So basically, if I have 2 transfers, I'll be able to do that transfer and save my wild card with the Salah out. I haven't completely decided who I'm going to bring in yet, but it would be Ollie Watkins that would be leaving for Erling Haaland next week. And that would leave my wild card. But otherwise, I will go with the wild card, and I'll be able to fix all little problem areas at the same time, including sort of my goalkeepers. Probably most of my front line, apart from João Pedro, would change, and I would probably take this opportunity to take Gakpo out also. But that's for next week. This week is a roll for me. So that's my team for game week 5 then. Please let me know in the comments, who would you have chose on my bench? Would you have brought in Anderson or Roden? They're 2 players that I could have potentially brought in, but I would love to know what you guys think of that. Also, like I said before, let me know your transfer plans. Let me know your team problems in the comments. It'd be really interesting to hear them. Otherwise, if you did like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.